Hello! Supposedly, this is the first video on my channel, and since it is, I think this would be a good time to start off and tell the world why I am an atheist. So, here is the first reason. Number one, now, there's so many paradoxes in the Bible that the literal Bible is practically untrue. Let me give you some examples. One main good paradox that I bring up a lot is the God knowledge paradox. Now, it seems a little complicated and impossible at first, but you'll understand how it doesn't make sense after I explain it. First, let me leave you with this statement. Now, how could God be all-knowing? Well, you think, well, yeah, I mean, he could be all-knowing, obviously. It's not that, like, impossible. Well, think about this. How would God know he's all-knowing? There could always be something that he doesn't know that he doesn't know. So he couldn't really possibly know that he is all-knowing because of that. Now, who sets the standard for him being all-knowing? Is it a human? It can't be a human because a human is not all-knowing. So a human can't possibly know if God is all-knowing. Now, it can't be God because God couldn't possibly know if he's all-knowing because there could always be something that he doesn't know that he doesn't know. So, like, how could you say he's all-knowing? That's my first point. Now, another kind of paradox is Jesus. Just the whole concept of Jesus is kind of a paradox because, first of all, think, well, God knows the future. God is all-knowing, therefore he must know the future. So God knows that Jesus will be brought back. Obviously that Jesus will be crucified for your sins, but then your sins will come back anyway because of free will. So there's Jesus dying, which is supposedly the ultimate sacrifice. Then he comes back, which, I mean, it kind of devalues the sacrifice. And also, he isn't really dying because apparently Jesus is God on earth. And obviously God's not dead because he's immortal. So he's not really actually ever dead because he is God. So, I mean, you can't really say it's even a sacrifice at all to begin with, even if he didn't come back. It's not really a sacrifice because that being is supposedly God because Christianity is not a polytheistic religion. And it's not like so you can't really say that it's a sacrifice or he really died for your sins when it turns out that there's still sins and all that bullshit. It's not really yeah. There's also more contextual paradoxes that I won't go into as much because they're much less explanation based. But here's one example: Genesis 32:20. I have seen the face of God. John 1:18. No one has ever seen the face of God. So hopefully you can understand my point here. Now, there's many more reasons why I'm an atheist beyond just paradoxes, but it's more to do with lack of evidence, like pretty much any atheist. And it's kind of like there's so many possibilities for the way the universe has been formed and the creation of life and everything than just one God that is narrowed down to a book and everything that happened in that book must be true And it's kind of just like, you know, as well, I'm also an atheist because there's so many things in the Bible that are immoral, and you don't usually see them brought up and everything, and obviously with Christians because they don't really want to look as bad, or but it's really funny because a lot of Christians just kind of like say things like, oh well, you can't think about the Old Testament because that stuff's old, and I mean you can't listen to that shit. And it's kind of like, well, I mean, Christianity itself is much older than many scientific theories, but if you're gonna use that logic, okay. And also, I kind of like, back to my morality point. I mean, there's so many like just weird ass like a woman should be burned if she wears a dress with two different types of threads. I think that was in Leviticus. It's just so weird. It's like, and then like in Leviticus as well, it's the homosexuality thing where he condemns homosexuality, and obviously that's not taken out, and people still like, I mean that it's kind of like people pick and choose what they want to carry out from the Bible, and it's kind of like, well, why do you need the Bible as your set of morality if you're just gonna pick and choose what you want to use from the Bible? Like, I don't, that's another thing I don't really understand. Like, how is the Bible useful to you, and how does it set standards for morality if you're just going to pick and choose what laws to choose from the Bible? And they always say like radical Christians or radical Muslims are like a extremist, derivation from the actual religion. Well, no, they're not. They're following the religion more than the average Christian that you would see, or I mean, the average non-terrorist Muslim that you would see. They're like the people at what was it, Westboro Church, I believe. What they're doing is actually more Christian than Lutheran, or just like an average Christian or church. It's more Christian, and it's because the way society has formed and the way we all act now is just, I mean, different from how we acted when the book was written. So it's not really like, something that would help me with morality. And even if it is just a book to help you with morality and what you should and should not do, I mean, it in my opinion, that doesn't really matter, because like then it's just a philosophy, and when it's a philosophy, it's not a religion. And when you believe in a philosophy, when you believe in Christianity just for morality and not because of the God, or because like you think that is necessarily 100% true, then you're not even a Christian. You're an atheist because you don't actually believe in a deity. So, you know, that's the kind of like, you know, the this has been kind of the reasons, the thoughts behind my mind of why I am an atheist. Now, maybe to most of the people who watch this video, probably like the 34 viewers who watch this video, all my viewpoints seem completely retarded and absurd, or they've just heard it before, and it's not that amazing or great, which, I mean, I'm not that surprised. But yeah, I just wanted to share with you guys why I am an atheist before I start making videos against well against certain aspects of religion. So there's that, and yeah. Goodbye.